Just look at the size of this place. 23,000, 23,500 holes. I would say there are about 16, 17,000 in here. Night crowds have been much the better.
Love. Out. 30 love.
Well, Muster just making a couple of gestures there. I think he's having a bit of trouble with the swirling breeze. The breeze at this stage is just coming from behind his back, so maybe the ball is being held up. Not really coming onto his racket. Well, you could just freeze, slow-mo this backhand volley and put it on an instructional video. That is absolutely perfect.
Well, to serve out a love game like that and play so incisively and with such complete freedom is further testimony, I think, to this man's henman's innate temperament. It's in his genes, you know. His grandfather played at Wimbledon, played Davis Cup. I slightly before my time, Wally, but I'm told that this is a curious thing. He was extremely unorthodox.
Henman. High, please. Good service.
His 10th ace of the match. That was 118 miles an hour. Below his quickest. Today, at least. 125 fastest today.
Well, it was a little bit of a bluff coming in off that backhand. He really was almost hesitant, scooped up that low ball. But sometimes that's what a tiebreak is about. Henman just slowing Muster down now.
Didn't work that time, but he's never let Muster settle.
3, 2.
As soon as he spotted a worthwhile chance to chip and come in or run him out of position and then come in, he's done it all the time. Muster just likes to stand there and put his 2 feet down heavily and slog. And Henman won't let him do it.
Well, Muster tried 3 lobs in that passage of play, and he did have the wind at his back. It was almost impossible to get that ball to come up and down in such a short time with the wind at his back. So tactically, not a good tiebreaker from Muster. Henman continuing to do all the right things, not changing a winning game.
Muster had said that the balls here fluff up quite quickly after 2 or 3 games, and that one would assume, if it was true, would be in his favour. Slower ball. 4-2. Still got this beautiful rhythm. The number of first serves he's been getting in. Right from the start, he's had that rhythm in his serve.
Henman. Three, Henman.
Well, again, it was a bit of a bluff. Certainly it was a gamble, but it paid off.
6-3.
And it gives Henman 3 chances to take a lead of 2 sets to love. Now, the crowd trying to lift Muster or trying to encourage the young Englishman. First serve in again. And it's been like that right from the start, and he's already done better, really, than I thought he would. It's a superb performance, really is. And it's just so exciting to be a British commentator watching a young British player play like this.
Well, Jerry, that you've mentioned it. It's that serve. It's really the platform that he's building this this victory upon, or so far. He's basically, when he gets his first serve in, he's up around 70 or 80% points won, and he's just serving terribly accurately. That last point right into the Muster body, but really has played very well, and I like the way that he's taken the pace off the ball too. He hasn't tried to slog it out with Muster when he is involved in baseline rallies. He's almost taken a lot of the pace off and made Muster do all the hard work generating the pace.
I'm actually wondering what that is. It's a shot from the old centre court, where, incidentally, last year Henman played and lost to Edberg eventually in the last 16, and that's Venus Williams. Who else could it be with the hairdo, signing autographs after her match?
You have to presume she won, the fact that she's signing autographs, I guess.
American tennis in a state of acute anxiety about the future, but she's certainly one of their best young prospects.
55 minutes. Okay, well, let's do the ball boys with Mike here. Me and the ball boys. Okay. Mikey and the ball boys. Yeah. Boy, what a crew. You guys should be smoking cigars, and I should turn this thing on and work better. Okay. Yeah. Right, see you guys later.
Well, there seems to be a problem here, so I'll try and remember what it was like to do sound commentary all those years ago.
He's like a storm just about to happen.
Panic over.
30-15.
Still the rhythm on the serve. Must be a beautiful feeling. And the crispness on the volley. And the immovable spirit. No panic, no excitement. And he's at the net. Henman going great guns here. 2 sets to love and 1 love.
Love. 15 all.
Well, it's one thing to have a game plan, it's another thing to
30.
execute. And Tim Henman, in what is pretty difficult conditions down there, is doing it perfectly.
Oh, well, it's magical stuff. And I thought it was significant that Muster, who might have come in about 2 shots before that, didn't come in.
Well, that was pretty cheeky from
15-40.
Tim Henman there. Muster had a bounce smash. Henman had crept into the net. I think Muster would have got quite a surprise to see him there. Brings up 2 break points.
$30-40. Deuce.
Very impassive, Tim Henman. He's just had 2 break points, 2 errors. Doesn't show much.
Wait. Correct. First serve. First serve. Advantage Muster. And Muster.
Well, he had to win that service game, did Muster, to have gone a break down, having already gone 2 sets down, would have been calamitous for him.
Just noticing on a couple of the big points now, those break points that he faced, Muster going to the forehand of Henman. I think he believes that Henman approaches a little better off the backhand side.
Block 15.
Well, I still think Muster is trying to hit that return a bit hard. That was actually a shank. That ball had rolled around the frame a couple of times. He might be advised at this point, Henman is serving so well, Muster just to move up to the baseline and maybe try to push a few back, block a few back with a shorter swing. He really is taking a big cut at the ball.
Well, that was rather like one of the senior boys giving the new kid a whop just to put him in his place.
15-30.
And again. This is Muster imposing himself suddenly.
15-40.
Thirteen aces from Henman. That one timed at 122 miles an hour, just below his fastest, 2-3 miles an hour. And that's only the second time in the match so far that Muster's broken his serve. Muster's probably starting to read this serve. 2-1 Muster leads.
Wings, and that ball just in the block hole. Didn't quite get it into the body, didn't quite get it away. Right in the hitting zone. You can just see there that little bit of forward momentum on the return, always important.
So the world's watching, and in case you wonder what that is, it's just outside. It's part of the development here. Williams is trying to point to a place bottom right-hand side on that globe.
Just trying to point Canberra out to you there, Jerry.
All right, okay. Part of the grounds here, of Flushing Meadows, there was a World Fair here. And they very artistically woven this into the general development as it's progressed, particularly in this new centre court here.
Yeah, there's a real symmetry to the stadium and the surrounds now.
Yes.
Before it just seemed like a real mishmash of courts and buildings.
2 sets up Henman, Muster serving 2-1 with a break in the third.
Low.
Well, Henman maybe just a little bit casual there. It was a good reply from Muster, taken so far out of court. Good touch. Henman had a lot of time. He was going over the high part of the net.
Continues to be a model of positive thinking, Henman.
Well, it didn't work for him that time, but that's what he's done so well today. A lot of players are so afraid of the Muster forehand. They attack his backhand relentlessly. Muster ends up parking himself in that backhand corner and hitting forehands anyway. But Henman has really opened the court up by going to the Muster forehand. And then when he gets the short reply, he's got a large area to come in on the backhand.
And what distracted Muster there, I'm quite sure, was because Henman suddenly chipped the return and came in behind it, and Muster looks up and suddenly there's something that could take his eye off the ball. Muster leads 3-1, and if Henman, being human, is going to have a slight dip in morale, it's going to be at about this place in a long match, which this could well yet turn out to be. You move from one plateau to another.
Yeah, it's one of the difficult things about playing best of 5-set tennis. It's almost impossible to concentrate for the duration.
15 love. Love. At second service.
Still arrowing that serve beautifully deep near the sidelines. I detect no hint of self-doubt, even though it's a breakdown. Oh, that's the most beautifully crisp volley you can imagine. And that slightly closes the gap to 3-2 in the third set. Muster in the lead with a break, but Henman leading by 2 sets to love.
By 3 games to 2.
Henman just standing his ground there on the volley. Really does have good hands, and one thing about the Henman volley, he volleys so far out in front of his body, which is so important.
When you see him play shots like that, the forehand and the volley, you know, no backswing, and it is extraordinary. When I was saying earlier on, at least it's extraordinary to me that apparently his grandfather was so unorthodox, because this is purity of technique, isn't it?
Yes, Tim Henman has always reminded me a little bit of Stefan Edberg.
Time.
Just in movement, preparation on the backhand side, and the volley.
Muster break up in 3-2. In a profitable ploy that by Henman. He's tried it again and again. Chipping in.
Love 15.
That concludes our coverage on Sky Sports 3 for the moment. You won't miss anything. Do turn over to Sky Sports. Back in the third set against Thomas Muster. He's 2 sets to love up, and check this out. Muster's after him. He's had enough. And don't tangle with Thomas, the Iron Man. 15-30 down, but they're having fun out there. This one could have a long way to run. Wally Mazur and Jerry Williams are your commentators.
15-30. Muster with the break in the third set. Henman 2 sets to love up.
30 all.
Point for Muster to take a lead of 4-2.
Muster leads 4 games to 2.
And 4-2 it is. That marvellous bit of fun just now revealed a side to Muster that the crowd seldom see. But in fact, he can be a man of great generosity. He said to me when we first got here, before the tournament had even begun, he said things about Henman and his talent that were very generous. He said he just hoped that he wouldn't be too good when he played him. Well, he has been good so far.
I must say, this is as nice as I've seen Thomas on a tennis court. Normally he's a little bit more antagonistic.
Well, he tries to intimidate all the time, doesn't he? It's part of his personality.
Henman did the right thing running up the alleyway, though. You don't want to mess with him.
15 all.
I remember one year here at the US Open, there was quite a lot of controversy. Thomas Muster put a sitter right through Yannick Noah and then proceeded to run his finger across his throat. And Noah did not appreciate it.
Chummy thing to do. Well, we've got some new viewers, we're told, from London on Sky Sports 1, and we bring you good news, which you can see here. Tim Henman has been playing from the very first point quite beautifully, wonderfully incisively. He's got a superb rhythm on his serve. He's 2 sets up, put a break down here.
Already 15.
Break down, 2-4 down, 30-15 up on his serve.
Forty 15. Forty 30. Henman
Good serving again.
still leads 4
Quick.
games to 3.
Well placed, lovely rhythm. He's never lost the rhythm. 4-3.
Yes, I like that. The fact that Tim hasn't been deterred from his game plan by anything today. He's been broken a couple of times, hasn't panicked. I thought at Wimbledon against Michael Stick and on a few other matches, he just tried to serve too hard. And it's a given fact, Tim Henman's fastest serve today is 125 miles an hour. It's very hard for him to generate much more pace than that, and he shouldn't try to. He works hard for his power in any case, but today, as you said, a beautiful rhythm on his serve, and he's varied the pace and the direction well. Just get to watch this point in replay. Good court coverage from Muster. Continues chasing Henman out of the stadium. Good bit of byplay.
Yes, without a doubt, this this moment has been the best moment so far for entertainment value in the whole of this year's United States Open, and those pictures are going to be shown all around the world, time and time again. I'll bet you. Terrific. Still with a break here. 2 sets down, but 4-3 up and serving.
Low. Pretty low.
Well, Muster was wrong-footed by a long way there, and it was because Henman had held the ball for so long. Just holding the racket face open at the last minute, rolling it cross-court.
Yes, just long.
40-15.
I think you can tell from some of the spectators' reaction to this that Henman's won a lot of friends here, a lot of admirers. Another point for 5-3.
Well, it's been a brave tactic, but Tim really has given Thomas no pace all day long. He has chipped and floated the backhand, rolled the forehand, and Muster is essentially a counterpuncher.
Advantage Henman.
He can get back here. Well, that was one of the very few poor shots he played in the whole match. Wasn't really decisive at all.
Yes, maybe just being a little... We'll have a look at the unforced errors there. Not too much difference. Big difference in the winners, though. Yes, I guess if there is a time when you do have to be positive in attack, it's on break point. Got to make your own luck.
Again, Muster.
5-3 he leads, but that was a close call, both on that point and also
Muster leads 5 games
in that game. Now, of course, Muster's an old hand at stuff like this. Big crowds, Grand Slam championships, big stadium, big atmosphere. But Henman, as he did there, continues to play this as if he'd just strolled out into the park, play a friendly match against a pal. Apparently experiencing no pressure at all. I find it quite remarkable.
Pretty low.
Well, Muster just known for his great court coverage, just imploring Henman to hit it back to him here.
40 low.
Love game. Another good, outstanding service game by Henman. And Muster leads 5-4. Henman leads 2 sets to love. It's inborn in a player, isn't it? The ability to, in front of a huge crowd and world television audience, to play with such freedom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things about playing tennis. When you do walk out onto a court, you take out a lot of emotional baggage out there with you. Your personality, you can never escape it. Some players don't like crowds, they don't like pressure. There are some players that just thrive on it. Thomas Muster's one of them. There are some guys out there on tour that you just could not beat in practice. Put them in a match situation and they don't fire up. There was that point, Muster begging the ball to come back to him.
Well, he's come out right from the start as Henman, and he's played with freshness, he's been clear-sighted and on a wave of inspiration. But now perhaps we're down to the real nitty-gritty. This is more like two fighters are going to have to slug it out, and Muster's wonderful at this stuff. Grabbed a few laughs along the way. He wasn't going to let Henman have everyone on his side, and he succeeded in that respect, serving for the set here.
Well, Muster's taken quite a bit off his serve at the moment. There's one thing, when the ball's coming at you slowly, you've really got to move your feet. Henman a little flat-footed on some of these second serves, just reaching for the ball. It's been pretty gusty out there.
Pick up by Henman. His ground shots generally stood up wonderfully well. But Muster's onto all this stuff.
30-15.
Oh, what delicacy.
Well, you'd back Tim 9 times out of 10 in this situation. Just a lot softer hands, better feel around the net, better anticipation.
Five, 4, 30 all. Third set. .40-30 and a set point. It's for the third set.
Well, he's just telling himself to get his feet moving there, just a bit flat-footed.
Yes, he remembered his lines all right, but Muster's passes, I think, have got more and more short. I think he's starting to read some of the angles that Henman's coming in on. It really is a battle now. 6-4, the third set goes to Muster after Henman has taken the lead of 2 sets to love. Good match. Crowd loving it.
Well, Tim's approaches have just lost a little bit of their authority. In the first couple of sets, he really was pegging lines and moving the ball around. That last set, he was starting to come in a little bit on the bluff. Just poking the ball down the middle and following it in.
15 love.
Very important for Tim in a match like this. When it gets to the closing stages, he has to go out to win the match. Thomas Muster's not going to lose it.
It's only the 4th time that he's pulled a double fault in this match, Henman. Serving the highest quality.
15-30.
Muster is saying he wasn't ready, or was distracted by somebody or something. Don't know what it was. Neither the umpire. The point stands. And Henman opens the fourth set by holding his serve yet again, in spite of, in that game, most out of character, serving 2 double faults. What's Muster complaining about? There was something in the crowd, a shout or something?
The ace that Tim served during that game, Muster was suggesting that he had his arms raised for the point to be replayed, but I don't think that was the case. I think he was pretty much facing Tim at the time. Just have a look at the summary of set 3. First serve percentage, Tim reasonably good at 56%, only 1 double fault. But you just see the Henman unforced errors at 17. Obviously he will hit more winners and make more unforced errors than Muster, as he is making the play, but maybe just a fraction too many. That was a great half volley. Just watch Thomas Muster's footwork in slow motion. One of the best movers in the game, along with Chang and Jim Courier, in my opinion.
Henman 2-1, having been 2 sets to love up. Muster serving love 1. Very cool.
Love 15.
This is just showing that Henman's not the only one who can play the fanciful shots round the net.
15-all.
Well, Muster's not noted for his touch, particularly at the net. He's played a couple of beauties today. Just get the feeling Tim's got to lift a little bit now. The momentum really shifted.
One game all, fourth set. Of course, you can't surf the waves of inspiration all the time. They're going to get little moments when suddenly things are not happening exactly the way you want it, when you can't play by instinct. Henman's played most of this match, it seems to me, by instinct, and it's just been flowing. So this is a time for grown-up stuff, perhaps, for him for a bit.
15 love.
It's always very important at the beginning of the fourth set, 2 sets to 1 up. If he can just get that early break, it's an enormous lead to have.
30 love.
Sometimes you've just got to tell yourself to make it happen. Reinforce a lot of positive ideas. Go over your game plan in your head. But just judging by that shot, I think the wind is a little more gusty out there than we think. That ball moved a good 3 or 4 feet in the air, even though it was mishit.
Well, whatever it was, just for a moment, bothered him. Henman's come through that. He leads 2-1 and 2 sets to 1. And there's a thin veil of cloud
Henman leads by 2 games to 1
at the moment, shielding the sun. There was, at the start of the day, some talk of rain later on, but I don't think it's going to interrupt this match.
Muster on this occasion, Henman had volleyed very deep down the centre of the court. No angle from Muster. He really did try to rip it back through Tim.
It's very natural the way he follows in the serve, isn't it? You can't teach somebody to do that. Remember how Lendl used to try? And all he was doing, really, he'd do the serve, and then he'd sort of stop, and then make a second movement.
I guess the good thing about Tim's serve is he has quite a deep knee bend. He rocks nicely on his serve onto the back foot. Big, deep knee bend, and he really does launch himself up and into the ball. And a lot like Stefan Edberg in that respect, and it really does throw him into the court. And he is a good mover in any case, but what I really like about Tim is the way he sets up for that first volley. He's always looking for the ball, the racket's way out in front of the body. One of the best parts of his game.
1-2, fourth set.
Well, that's good. You see Henman just skipping across the court. Now's the time. He's got to seize his chances here. He's at the good end. He's got the wind coming over his left shoulder.
That approach was short.
30-15. And Muster.
That's a decisive service game by Muster. 2 games all, fourth set. Henman leading by 2 sets to 1, having led by 2 sets to love. And it's rather harder work, I think, for Henman now. And a test of other qualities, perhaps. That'll do him good, because the serve, he got the rhythm back again. There've been a couple of double faults
15 all.
from him, and another one there.
Just see on that first volley how close his eyes were to the racket head. The closer you can keep those two things together, the more consistent you'll be on the volley.
30-15. Let second service.
That's beautiful volleying. What a wonderfully sure touch. It's almost never left him. You can't think of 3 or 4 volleys really in this match, I can't at least, where he's suddenly dithered or not been quite sure. He's been close into the net. He's starting to just question 1 or 2 calls. Bruno Rebieux, the Frenchman there, one of the top umpires in the world, he's having none of that.
$40-30.
Muster, I think, thought that ball was going to go out, and he had to adjust at the very last minute. Did well there, Henman, to win that game, because after that call, he thought he'd had a bad call on the serve, and it could have bothered him.
Well, he showed me by taking that smash on the full that he's pretty confident that ball was coming down from a great height. And that's always difficult to do. You'll see most players opt to let that one bounce. Good sign of confidence. There it is in replay. And a rare show of emotion.
Do you see a technical weakness in him? I can't say I ever have done.
Well, to my way of thinking, he probably just is a little bit light. His game is a little bit light to ever really threaten the top levels of the game. If you look at Sampras, he has all the touch, the movement, and he combines it with some awesome power. I haven't quite seen that yet in Tim, not on the serve and not on the ground shots. He's very neat player, but probably just lacks that real ferocity off the ground or off the serve, for example, so that when he is having a day where not everything's going right, he can fall back on those weapons.
Lot 15. Service.
That might be a little bit of a harsh comparison, comparing him with Sampras, who may be the best player we've ever seen.
But Sampras himself was telling me he sees a lot of his own characteristics 2 or 3 years ago when he watches Henman play.
$30-15.
A lot of people told me when Henman was starting out that he was like Sampras. I've always seen him more of an Edberg.
40-15.
Yeah, Sampras himself sees him like Edberg. I see him like Sampras. Not bad players to be compared with, are they?
Muster.